There's a reason why most people never break their bad habits, no matter how many times they try. You've probably felt it yourself, the frustration of making a promise to change, only to find yourself repeating the same old patterns days or weeks later. Maybe you've tried to quit procrastinating, stop scrolling endlessly on your phone, or finally get rid of that unhealthy eating habit. You start with motivation, you make a plan, you even see some progress, but then, almost without warning, you slip. The old habit returns, and you're left wondering, what's wrong with me? Why can't I change? But what if I told you the problem isn't you? What if the real issue is the system you're using to change? Today, you're going to discover a Japanese philosophy that has helped millions transform their lives, not by relying on willpower, but by changing the very way they approach habits. This is the philosophy of Kaizen, and once you understand it, you'll realize that breaking any bad habit isn't just possible, it's inevitable. But before we dive in, I want you to do something powerful. In the comments, write down the one bad habit you want to break. Make it public, make it real, because when you declare your intention, you're already taking the first step towards change. And if you're serious about transforming your life, subscribe to this channel and join a community of people who refuse to settle for less. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Sudden Change. We live in a world obsessed with instant results. Lose 10 kilos in 10 days. Quit smoking overnight. Transform your life in a week. These promises are everywhere, and they're seductive. Who wouldn't want to wake up tomorrow as a completely new person? But here's the truth. Sudden change is an illusion. It's a fantasy sold by people who profit from your impatience. In reality, every lasting transformation is built on small, almost invisible steps. This is where most people get it wrong. They try to break a bad habit by making a grand declaration. From tomorrow, I'll never do this again. They rely on motivation, on willpower, on the hope that this time will be different. But motivation fades. Willpower is limited, and hope without a system is just another word for disappointment. The Japanese understood this centuries ago. In the aftermath of World War II, Japan was a nation in ruins. Factories destroyed, resources scarce, morale shattered. The world expected Japan to collapse, but instead, something remarkable happened. The Japanese rebuilt their country not through massive leaps, but through tiny, relentless improvements. This philosophy became known as Kaizen, literally, change for the better. It's the art of making progress so small, so consistent, that failure becomes impossible. Chapter 2. The Power of Micro-Change. Imagine you want to stop eating junk food. The typical approach is to empty your kitchen, throw away all the snacks, and declare, "No more." For a few days, you feel strong. But then stress hits. You're tired, you're hungry, and suddenly, you're back at the drive-thru, wondering what happened. Kaizen flips this approach on its head. Instead of trying to change everything at once, Kaizen asks, what is the smallest possible step you can take today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Maybe it's eating one less chip. Maybe it's drinking one extra glass of water. Maybe it's simply noticing when the craving hits, without acting on it. These steps seem insignificant. They're almost laughable. But that's the point. They're so small your brain doesn't resist them. There's no fear, no overwhelm, no pressure to be perfect. A Harvard psychologist once said, "The greatest threat to change is not failure, but discouragement." When you set the bar so low that you can't fail, you remove discouragement from the equation. You build momentum, one tiny victory at a time. Chapter 3. The Science Behind Kaizen. Modern neuroscience has finally caught up with what the Japanese have known for generations. Your brain is a pattern-making machine. Every time you repeat a behavior, you strengthen the neural pathway associated with it. This is why bad habits feel automatic. They're literally wired into your brain. But here's the good news. The brain is plastic. It can change. And the most effective way to rewire your brain isn't through force, but through repetition. Small, consistent actions create new pathways. Over time, these new pathways become stronger than the old ones. The bad habit weakens, the new habit takes over. Kaizen works because it leverages this principle. By focusing on micro changes, you avoid triggering your brain's resistance. You bypass the fear center, the part of you that hates change. Instead, you create a sense of safety. This is easy. I can do this. And as you repeat these small actions, day after day, your identity begins to shift. You stop being someone who's trying to break a bad habit. You become someone who simply lives differently. Chapter 4. The Story of Emmy. Let me tell you a story. Emmy was a young woman living in Tokyo. She struggled with procrastination. Every night she promised herself she'd wake up early and start her day with purpose. Every morning she hit snooze, rolled over, and lost another hour to her phone. She felt stuck, ashamed, convinced she'd never change. One day, a mentor introduced her to Kaizen. "Don't try to wake up an hour earlier," he said. "Just set your alarm 1 minute earlier tomorrow, that's all." Emmy laughed. 1 minute? What difference does that make? But she tried it. The next day, she woke up 1 minute earlier. The day after, another minute. After a week, she was waking up 7 minutes earlier. After a month, 30 minutes. After 3 months, she was up before sunrise, meditating, journaling, and starting her day with energy she'd never known before. The change was so gradual, so gentle, that her brain never fought back. There were no relapses, no guilt, no shame, just progress, steady, unstoppable, inevitable. Chapter 5. The Kaizen Mindset. Kaizen isn't just a technique, it's a mindset. It's the belief that no step is too small, that every action counts, that perfection is the enemy of progress. It's about falling in love with the process, not the outcome. When you embrace Kaizen, you stop judging yourself for not being perfect. You start celebrating every tiny victory. Contrast this with the all-or-nothing mindset. The person who says, "If I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all." This is the mindset that kills change before it even begins. Kaizen is the antidote. It's the quiet, persistent force that turns mountains into pebbles, one grain of sand at a time. Let's be honest. Most people fail to break bad habits not because they're weak, but because they set themselves up for failure from the start. They create impossible standards, demand instant results, and punish themselves for every slip. The cycle is always the same: motivation, action, struggle, relapse, guilt, and then giving up. It's a loop that repeats endlessly, leaving you feeling powerless. But Kaizen is different. Kaizen removes the pressure to be perfect. It doesn't ask you to leap across a canyon in a single bound. It asks you to build a bridge, one plank at a time. If you miss a day, you don't fall back to zero. You simply continue from where you left off. There's no shame, no guilt, no self-punishment, just the next small step. This is why Kaizen is so powerful. It's not about never failing. It's about making failure so small, so insignificant, that it can't stop your progress. If you eat one cookie instead of a whole box, that's progress. If you scroll for 5 minutes less than yesterday, that's progress. If you pause for a moment before reacting, that's progress. Every small win counts. Every small win builds momentum. Chapter 7. The Kaizen Ladder, a step-by-step system. So how do you actually apply Kaizen to break a bad habit? Here's a simple step-by-step system you can start using today. Step 1. Identify the habit. Don't just say, "I want to be healthier." Be specific. I want to stop drinking soda every day. I want to stop checking my phone first thing in the morning. Clarity is power. Step 2. Break it down. What is the smallest possible action you can take towards breaking this habit? If you drink 3 sodas a day, can you drink 2.5? If you check your phone for an hour, can you check for 55 minutes? Make the step so small it feels almost silly. Step 3. Make it daily. Consistency is everything. It's better to take a tiny step every day than a giant leap once a week. Daily action rewires your brain. Daily action builds identity. Step 4. Track your progress. Write it down. Use a notebook, an app, or a calendar. Every day you succeed, mark it. Every day you slip, mark it. Don't judge, just observe. Tracking makes your progress visible. It turns invisible change into something you can see and celebrate. Step 5. Celebrate small wins. Every time you succeed, no matter how small, celebrate. Smile. Say, "Well done" to yourself. Share your progress with a friend or in the comments. Celebration reinforces the new behavior. It tells your brain, "This is good. Do more of this." Step 6. Adjust and repeat. If a step feels too easy, make it a little bigger. If it feels too hard, make it smaller. The goal is not to impress anyone. The goal is to keep moving forward, no matter how slowly. Chapter 8. The Power of Environment. One of the secrets of Kaizen is that it doesn't just change your actions, it changes your environment. The Japanese understood that willpower is unreliable, but environment is powerful. If you want to break a bad habit, make it harder to do. If you want to build a good habit, make it easier. If you want to stop eating junk food, don't keep it in the house. If you want to read more, put a book on your pillow. If you want to stop checking your phone in bed, charge it in another room. These small changes in your environment make the right choice the easy choice, and the wrong choice the hard one. Kaizen is about designing your life so that success becomes the default. You don't have to fight yourself every day. You simply follow the path of least resistance, a path you've created step by step. Chapter 9. The Story of Hiroshi. Let's look at another example. Hiroshi was a middle-aged salaryman in Osaka. He had a habit of smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. He'd tried to quit dozens of times, cold turkey, nicotine patches, even hypnosis, nothing worked. Every time he tried to quit all at once, the cravings overwhelmed him. Then he discovered Kaizen. Instead of quitting overnight, he decided to smoke one less cigarette each week. The first week, he smoked 19 a day instead of 20. The next week, 18. The change was so gradual, his body barely noticed. There were no withdrawal symptoms, no panic, no sense of loss. After 5 months, Hiroshi was down to 1 cigarette a day. After 6 months, he stopped completely. He didn't just quit smoking, he became a non-smoker. The habit faded, not through force, but through gentle, persistent change. Chapter 10. The Kaizen Community. One of the most powerful aspects of Kaizen is community. In Japan, Kaizen isn't just an individual practice, it's a collective one. Factories, companies, even entire cities embrace Kaizen as a way of life. People support each other, share their progress, and celebrate each other's victories. You don't have to do this alone. When you share your journey, when you declare your intention in the comments, when you celebrate your small wins with others, you tap into a source of strength far greater than willpower. You become part of a movement. You inspire others, and you're inspired in return. This is why I encourage you, right now, to write your Kaizen commitment in the comments. What's the one small step you'll take today? What's the one bad habit you'll start breaking? Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Your declaration isn't just for you. It's for everyone who reads it and realizes they're not alone. Chapter 11. The Myth of Motivation. Let's address one of the biggest myths in self-improvement, the myth of motivation. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they act. They think, when I feel ready, I'll change. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. If you wait for motivation, you'll wait forever. Kaizen doesn't depend on motivation. It depends on action, tiny, consistent action. The beauty of Kaizen is that it works even when you don't feel like it. Because the steps are so small, you can do them even on your worst days. You don't need to feel inspired. You just need to take the next small step. Over time, action creates motivation, not the other way around. Every small win builds confidence. Every small win creates momentum. And as momentum grows, motivation follows. You become the kind of person who acts, not the kind who waits. There's a paradox at the heart of Kaizen. The slower you go, the faster you change. In a world obsessed with speed, this sounds almost absurd. But think about it. How many times have you tried to change everything overnight, only to burn out and end up right back where you started? How many times have you set huge goals, only to feel overwhelmed and give up? Kaizen teaches us that real, lasting change is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not about intensity, but consistency. When you move slowly, you avoid the resistance that comes with big, sudden changes. You give your mind and body time to adapt. You build a foundation so strong that when challenges come, you don't collapse. You keep going. This is why the most successful people in any field, athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, are masters of small, daily improvements. They don't chase perfection, they chase progress. They know that every day is an opportunity to get just a little bit better. And over time, those tiny gains add up to something extraordinary. Chapter 13. The Identity Shift. At its core, Kaizen is about more than breaking bad habits. It's about changing who you are. When you practice Kaizen, you're not just someone who's trying to quit smoking or stop procrastinating or eat healthier. You become someone who values growth, someone who believes in the power of small steps, someone who trusts the process, even when results are invisible. This identity shift is the real secret to lasting change. When you see yourself as a person who improves every day, you stop fearing failure. You stop judging yourself for not being perfect. You start to enjoy the journey. You become resilient, adaptable, and unstoppable. Think about the difference. The person who says, "I'm trying to quit," is always fighting. The person who says, "I'm becoming someone who doesn't need this habit," is transforming. Kaizen is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Chapter 14. Overcoming Setbacks with Kaizen. No journey is without setbacks. There will be days when you slip, when the old habit creeps back in, when you feel like you're moving backwards. This is normal. This is human. The difference is how you respond. With Kaizen, a setback is not a failure. It's feedback. It's information. It's a chance to learn, to adjust, to take an even smaller step if needed. Instead of giving up, you ask, "What's the next smallest step I can take?" You forgive yourself. You move forward. This mindset is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. The people who break free from bad habits aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who always get back up. Kaizen gives you the tools to do just that. Chapter 15. The Ripple Effect. When you start practicing Kaizen in one area of your life, something amazing happens. The mindset spreads. You start to see opportunities for small improvements everywhere. Maybe you begin by cutting back on sugar, and soon you're organizing your workspace, improving your relationships, learning new skills. Each small change builds confidence for the next. This ripple effect is why Kaizen is so powerful. It's not just about breaking one bad habit, it's about transforming your entire life, one step at a time. You become a person who is always growing, always evolving, always moving forward. Chapter 16. The Wisdom of the Japanese Masters. The Japanese didn't invent Kaizen just for factories or businesses. They applied it to every aspect of life, from the way they prepare tea, to the way they train in martial arts, to the way they care for their homes and families. The philosophy is simple. Never stop improving. Never settle for good enough. Always look for the next small step. This is why Japanese culture is known for its attention to detail, its pursuit of excellence, its quiet strength. Kaizen is not about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday. It's about honoring the process, respecting the journey, and trusting that small steps lead to great destinations. Chapter 17. Your Kaizen Commitment. Now it's your turn. What's the one bad habit you want to break? What's the smallest possible step you can take today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Write it down, make it public, share it in the comments, tell a friend, start your journey. Remember, you don't need to change everything at once. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. Once you take it, the next step becomes easier, and before you know it, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Chapter 18. The Challenge. I challenge you, for the next 30 days, practice Kaizen with one bad habit. Choose the smallest step you can take and do it every day. Track your progress, celebrate your wins, share your journey. If you miss a day, don't quit, just start again. Remember, the goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. At the end of 30 days, reflect on your journey. What changed? How do you feel? What new identity have you started to build? Share your story. Inspire others. Become part of a community that believes in the power of small steps. Chapter 19. The Final Lesson. Breaking bad habits isn't about force, it's about flow. It's about making change so gentle, so gradual that your old self doesn't even notice it slipping away. It's about trusting that small steps, taken consistently, will lead you to places you never thought possible. Kaizen is the quiet revolution. It's the art of becoming unstoppable, not through willpower, but through wisdom. It's the secret that has transformed lives, rebuilt nations, and created legends. And now, it's yours. Conclusion: the journey begins. If this video changed your perspective, subscribe to the channel and join a community of people who believe in the power of Kaizen. Share your commitment in the comments. Encourage others. Remember, the consistency that scares others is the only consistency worth having. You are not your bad habits. You are the sum of your small daily actions. And with Kaizen, you can become anyone you choose to be. Thank you for watching. Your journey starts now.